Hi everybody, welcome to today's video, and I have an amazing guest with me, a gem I am so excited to share. This is Dr. Barbie Taylor, and first of all, mwah, I adore this woman so. She is a long-time friend. I'm not even going to say how long, but we go too long.
It ages us.
It does, but we go way, way back. Dr. Barbie Taylor was, and I'm going to say this and don't blush, the premier OB-GYN in Houston. She was everybody's doctor. Everybody had to have her. Everybody wanted her to deliver their babies. Everybody wanted her to fix their hormones. She's it. So anyway, Barbie, you had an amazing practice here. Your life has taken you in so many interesting directions. You and your husband travel the world. You see things, you absorb cultures and communities, and you now have a YouTube channel of your own.
Yep.
Share with us the name, because the name is precious.
Menopause Barbie.
Because everybody needs one in their collection, a Menopause Barbie.
Well, everybody needs information on menopause.
Right.
And it's something that has been needed for a long time, and I was looking for a venue that allowed me to educate everybody without having to give seminars all the time. Mm-hmm. And Dominique had the idea that I needed a YouTube channel, and here she is. But you have amassed a wealth of information throughout your career. I mean, let me share with everybody, first of all, this is my copy. She gave this to me many, many years ago, but it's Barbie's book, Menopause, Your Management, Your Way, Now and for the Rest of Your Life. Look at this. I mean, you will know everything there is to know about menopause in this book alone, but with your channel, what you're doing, and the reason why I want you on my channel is my audience is theoretically your audience. My women, I'm 49. Yeah. My women are in their 40s, their 50s, 60s. I have some 70-year-old women who are with me here, some younger as well. But this is everybody's story, whether they've gone through it, are going through it, think they're through with it, but really aren't. This is everybody's story. And the one thing you impress with everybody is that there's no one size fits all when it comes to treating menopause. Completely unbiased.
So let's start there. Let's start with, let's start broad and bring our way in, because there are so many women who get awfully confused. I know for me it hit when I was about 45. Which surprised me, because I had this preconceived notion that menopause was going to hit at 50 plus. And so I start getting hormonal and moody, and I'm sweating and I'm hot, and I'm like, what is this? And so when women start experiencing those symptoms, where do they start?
Usually they don't know where to start.
Right.
That's the problem. Usually they have no idea. In fact, most of them don't even know how to know that it's menopause. Mm-hmm. They think they might be ill, they think they might be going crazy, it's a time of confusion and stress, but they don't really know where to start. And so my attitude is, I wanted to provide a place for women to get the basic information and to learn everything they need to know so that they can do whatever they want to manage it. The biggest problem with menopause is that most of the resources are biased. So there's resources that encourage you to use hormones and resources that encourage you to use other things, but there are very few sources, hardly anything that just teaches you everything you need to know and empowers you to use whatever you want to use. And so that's what I did when I wrote the book. And I give seminars, and that's what I do with the seminars. I give you completely unbiased information, and with the YouTube channel. And I cover every option in diet, lifestyle, vitamin, mineral, herbal, botanical, hormonal medication, and non-hormonal medication categories, and just teach you how to tailor everything to your own needs, wants, and desires. And you can do whatever you want. I mean, no two women are alike. You know yourself better than anyone does.
Right.
And no one else's opinion matters but your own. I mean, that's the big key. And people try to impose things on one another, and that's the wrong way to go
Which
about
is hard. You know, it's interesting because as you go through this, you become a part of this community. And it's great that everybody wants to share what they're doing. And this is what I do. And it's working for me. So therefore, this is what you should do.
No.
But our bodies are our temple.
No,
and we treat them
exactly.
all very differently. And I think that it can be very confusing. There's a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
whether from the medical community
Yeah.
or peers, as to what we need to do. And sometimes it's just creating our own paths can be very time consuming,
Right.
hard, challenging, but your encouragement is to walk that walk.
Exactly. And you have to realize that you're going to be a menopausal woman for the rest of your life.
See, that's the other thing that will blow people away.
You're
We
gonna
think it's
stand-
10 years and we're done.
But we live till we're 100.
Right.
And you're going to go through menopause around age 50. You're going to spend half of your life as a menopausal woman. So you
Right.
had better learn what you need to know, and you had better be able to use information. And you have to realize you're not a robot.
Right.
You're not going to stay the same for 50 years. Your needs, your wants, your desires, and what's available is going to change.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is learn the information, tailor it. You can pick and choose. You can use trial and error. You can change your mind at any time, and that's the wonderful thing, because you don't want to feel like you're stuck with something. You know, your situation is going to change, and you're going to have to adjust it.
Right. And I'll share my situation now because I'm transparent that way. And we're talking menopause, so I'm not hiding. But for me, I started to feel those symptoms of hormonal changes, those night sweats, those hot flashes, the irritability, all of that. So for me, my personal choice was seeking hormonal therapy, and the avenue I went was through the Hotze Health and Wellness System
Okay.
here in the Houston area. They're in Katy, and I supplement with bioidentical hormones. That was my choice. And what I find, and this is very true, that I have had to tweak my levels
Yes.
as I go.
Yes.
For instance, I do bioidentical estrogen. I do Biest along with progesterone. But sometimes a very small dose of Biest will work, and then sometimes it doesn't. And so they're constantly managing me
Yeah.
with increasing the estrogen, but also increasing the progesterone.
Absolutely. You have to
Talk
balance.
about the balance of these hormones and why it's not just one, but it's all in unison.
Well, it depends on the woman, because not everyone has to use progesterone. Only women who have a uterus need progesterone.
Right.
And the only purpose of your progesterone is to protect your uterus from uterine cancer. Now, just that little piece of information is very valuable.
Sure.
Because for some women, the progesterone causes side effects that they don't like. It's kind of the PMS hormone. And so it makes you feel kind of bloated and a little irritable. And if you don't have to take it, if you don't have a uterus, you can take your estrogen very smoothly with a lot less hassle. But some women have no idea that they need progesterone.
right.
And some women take it and they don't need it. And just knowing that little piece of information empowers you to work so much more efficiently with your hormones.
I think the biggest fear for women with estrogen was always the fear of cancer.
Right.
Does progesterone, because we naturally through our cycles when we menstruate, we have the balance of the two. As we go through menopause, does progesterone help to counterbalance some of the effects of estrogen?
Yes, but only if you have a uterus.
Got it. So that's really your
It's
barometer.
Really the barometer. And you know, there was a study in 2001 called the Women's Health Initiative, abbreviated WHI, and it was the study that made everyone freak out and stop taking hormones because they showed that estrogen and progesterone increased your risk for some cancers. They had another part of the study that was only estrogen,
Right.
and that one didn't show the same things. But they discontinued that part of the study because of the findings of the estrogen and progesterone arm. And what's happened with that is there was this like pendulum. Everyone was taking hormones, and then with that study, everyone quit taking the hormones. And now we're kind of back in the center where people are going, oh, we overreacted. So it's a matter of finding what works for you. And you know, all progesterones aren't created equal. You may find one that works for you and one that doesn't, and same with estrogens.
Right.
The whole idea is to know what's available. And you may only want to use phytoestrogens, which are plant forms of estrogens. You may only want to use herbal or botanical products.
Right.
Whatever you want to do is fine. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. There's no better or worse. It's just about what's best for you. And so I tell everybody, whenever you say something about menopause, follow it with the two words, for me.
Uh-huh.
Because that makes it very clear that this is your journey and you are finding what works for you, and that everybody else should do
the same
what
for
she
themselves.
needs to do. Yeah. And I think that's the most important thing that we can do for each other, because otherwise it's a disservice to each other.
Let's talk about the differences, because most women will seek a doctor in standard medicine. So what is the difference between what a doctor in traditional medicine would prescribe versus a doctor like Hotze that has a compounding pharmacy and they talk about bioidenticals, versus going to, say, Whole Foods and finding something that's plant-based? Talk about the difference, because I know in medicine they have to be different.
They're different. And part of the difference is the origin of the hormones. Right. So when you're talking about botanical and herbal products, they are plant sources of hormones. And they're great hormones, but they're much, much, much
lower,
weaker.
Right, they have to be. Because it's not a drug that can be regulated.
Exactly. Well, they're much weaker because that's just their strength.
Right.
You just said a magic word, regulated. The regulatory standards are completely different. In medicine, we have FDA approval. That means a drug has to go through 3 trials, it has to be approved, it has to be regulated. It costs millions of dollars to get a drug on the market in medicine. And when you get a drug in the pharmaceutical sense, every tablet is identical. They have to be.
Right.
It's not that way with botanical and herbal products. The tablets have a hormone in them, but it's from plants. So when you go to the grocery store and you look at the lettuce, you see some great big, huge lettuce heads, and you see some scrawny ones. Right. They're plants. That's how plants work.
Right. Some are big, some are strong, some are more potent than others.
Exactly. And guess what? The same goes for plant products. So when you get an herbal or botanical product, some are going to be stronger, some will be weaker, some will have greater potency, some will have lower. They won't be consistent. It doesn't make them bad. You just need to realize there's going to be a difference.
Kind of an ebb and flow in how you're responding.
Exactly. And batch to batch may be different. And then, of course, with plants, you have to realize, guess what? They're grown in the dirt. There's toxins, there's insecticides, there's pesticides. They clean them, but there could be traces.
Sure.
There's not perfection. The same thing is with your foods. When you eat food, there's probably still a little dirt and toxins and pesticides on them too. Right. They don't kill you, they don't harm you. So is that terrible? No, it's not terrible. It's just a matter of being aware.
One thing that you've mentioned and that I fully believe in, you talked about this in your video, the importance of interviewing doctors. That it has to be a right fit. You have to feel comfortable. You have to feel heard. And maybe it is an interview process between, let's say, traditional and standard medicine versus medicine that's a little bit more outside the box, a little bit more of a, I mean, I don't know what term you would use, more of an
alternative complementary.
Yes.
And you don't have to have it either or. You can use some of both. You can use them together. Unfortunately, most physicians, most osteopaths, and most naturopaths don't get the same education. But if we all did, it would be much better.
It'd be more complementary.
It'd be easier for people to get what they want. Right now, because the background and educations are different, women have trouble finding what they want. And what I do with the videos is I teach you how to find what you want. Here's who you go to. This person's going to know about this person's going to know about that. And you can change and you can use both of them. And if you have information, it makes it easier for all of them to work with you. The key is they don't have time to educate you. Right. When I do a seminar, it's 12 hours long. It's 2 6-hour days. That's a long time. They don't. Your appointment with a doctor is 10 minutes. There's no way they can educate you. Right. And so I'm here to educate people so that they can then go to whichever provider they want and get whatever they like for their menopause. I find that the better treatment you get comes from the more knowledge you provide your caregiver. And that knowledge has to be intuitive. It's, again, transparency. It's being authentic with what you're really experiencing, to not be afraid to talk about a vagina and changes and all of that you have to sort of put it out there, because you really will never get the help you truly need if you suppress it and keep it in. Right. And part of it is terminology, because there are words that people use that have different meanings to different people. You know, the word natural. Everyone uses the word natural. Right. What does it mean? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, does it mean only plants? Does it mean bioidenticals? Does it mean, could a pharmaceutical be natural? See, I go through all that. I have a video that's natural versus synthetic products for menopause. And I really just kind of tease your brain with, let's dissect these terms. Let's figure out what's natural. And the definition is all up to you.
Yeah.
But it's about communicating to your provider what you want. And if you just say natural, they don't know what you're talking about.
And I think also, Barbie, you know, it is the whole woman that has to be looked at through a big change in life like this.
Absolutely.
And you know, and this is the other thing that I adore about you, because you are, with your diet, you are so conscientious of what you eat, but you do it for specific reasons.
Yeah.
Your fitness plan, your rest, and that all of that needs to be taken into consideration with how well or unwell we feel. And I think we need to address stress levels, adrenals, sleep, quiet time,
Exactly.
balance, diet, nutrition. So kind of elaborate on that, because it's not just popping a hormone and saying, okay, I feel better now.
You know, I think menopause is the time in your life where you have to start being selfish about how you take care of yourself.
Amen.
I think it's a time where you need to say, wait a minute, I've been spending all my time taking care of my family and doing everything for everyone else and forfeiting what I like and what I need and sacrificing my well-being for everybody else. Now, part of that is all great and fine and good, but there comes a time when you need to just say, everybody else needs to go jump in a lake. It's your
Just
turn.
get your snorkel and masks
It's
and
your
leave me
turn.
alone.
Exactly, and it's time for you to be more selfish, do more things for yourself, and realize that you are setting the stage for the rest of your life. And the idea is to make the rest of your life the best of your life. And the only way you can do that is if you start paying more attention to how you're living. And you know, Mother Nature has a wonderful way of speaking to us through our bodies. You know, if you're a night owl, you have a normal time where your body wants to go to sleep and a normal time when you want to wake up. And if you're a morning person, you have the same thing but at different times of day. And most people don't really pay much attention to that. They know, but they don't do what their body wants them to do. And I think if you just listen to what your body tells you, it speaks volumes for what's the best for you. And it may not be best for everybody else.
But again, it's your personal journey and
personal
personal story. And I agree, we need to get introspective during this time and be authentic and to take time for ourselves. And that it's amazing how much being well rested, and I notice this in myself, Barbie. If I don't have enough sleep, or I got a house full of kids really stressing me out, or you know, it's work, or this or that, I find it has a great impact on my menopausal feelings.
Of course.
Even though I'm still taking the same amount of hormone. So funny how that is.
It's not magic. It's about diet, it's about lifestyle, it's about balance. Everything is about balance. And what's beautiful about menopause is that you can pick and choose the things that will work for you. You know, sometimes we tell ourselves that we'll do something that we know darn well we're not going to do.
Right.
Why kid ourselves that that's what we're going to do to manage our menopause when in fact it's never going to happen? So let's be okay with the fact that we're not going to do a certain thing. I mean, maybe you say to yourself, well, I'll quit drinking wine, but maybe you love your wine. Well, maybe you shouldn't quit drinking wine.
Right.
Maybe
if it makes you feel good.
Find another way to accomplish whatever goal it is you thought you were going to accomplish by not drinking wine.
Right.
And so what I do is I give you all the options. And that gives you the opportunity to pick and choose and do what you know will work for you and be realistic about it. You know, when patients came in and told me something that wasn't true, I would just face them with, I don't believe you. When someone comes in and says, I've tried everything to lose weight and I've tried every diet and I don't have time to work out, I'm like, I don't believe you. It's just about priorities.
Right.
We do what we care about. We all do. And if something's important enough to you, you'll make it happen. And if it's not, maybe you should just be okay with, that's just not important to me. And find another way to accomplish your goals. So it's about figuring out what will work for you and being okay with it and giving yourself permission. Giving yourself permission.
That's a biggie.
It's huge.
It is.
And that's a huge part of what my seminars are about. Let's be okay with doing what we want to do.
Right. And I don't want to give away all the content on your channel because she's got so much there, and Barbie goes in depth in all of this stuff. But you just said a key word that's going to lead to my last question, and it is permission.
Yes.
And you're a medical channel, you're dealing with menopause.
Yeah.
I'm a beauty, lifestyle, inspirational channel. So we're dealing with a lot of the outside, but some of the inside as well.
Yeah.
The one thing I hear from a lot of women sort of in that menopausal age is, I've let myself go.
Yeah.
I've let myself go, and I'm through finding you, I'm beginning to rediscover myself, put emphasis on myself, take care of myself, realize that I'm beautiful again.
Yeah.
So I want to leave everybody with sort of that magical formula that, as we go through physical changes of menopause, and sex may become more uncomfortable as we get older, but still, why deprive ourselves of something that has been a joyful part of our lives? Why stop putting emphasis on your beauty, your hair, your skin, your makeup?
Right.
I mean, you're saying that if it's important to you, it's a choice that you'll make.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it requires more effort.
Absolutely.
But isn't it so important to put money in that bank?
It is, and I don't think women let themselves go. I think they get behind. And part of the getting behind is because they don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And suddenly they start noticing that, oh my gosh, my body isn't responding to the same things it used to. My metabolism is slowing down. I'm gaining weight in my abdominal area. That never happened before. Well, guess what? What if you knew that was going to happen? What if I had prepared you for that?
Right.
What if you knew to expect it and you knew how to manage it? You wouldn't get behind. So information is so powerful in getting you to a state of affairs where you can deal with things in advance.
Yeah.
And that's what my goal is. And when older women come to my seminars or to my channel, they feel so deceived that no one has ever
imparted
told
this
them
information
these things before. You're never too old or too young to learn this, because the more information you have, the better it's going to be, no matter what your age is. So I really think, do you realize that menopausal women are the fastest growing sector of society worldwide?
Yep.
I mean, we are going to be ruling the world, really, because we outlive men and longevity rates are increasing. We're living until we're 100, and those need to be good years. And so we need to start breaking the silence about being menopausal and start being okay with it and start, rejoicing in it and supporting each other and having some knowledge that is factual as opposed to misconceptions, and being able to use that to make our lives really great. And that's really what my goal is as far as what I do on YouTube. And I don't care how a person learns, whether she's auditory or visual or kinesthetic. I think of every possible way to get the message across to you. I build models, I build props. My husband runs all over the city, wherever we live, looking for crazy things that I need to get it. And I just make a point of being as creative as I can to be sure that you understand something.
Well, I'm so happy that you're on this platform, and that when I said to Barbie, you need a YouTube channel, she didn't talk to me. There wasn't that dead silence on the phone. What do you mean by this? She thought about it and she says, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? And I said, because I didn't think of it. Somebody presented it to me too, because we're not of that age to think about being on YouTube.
Yeah.
But you know what? Thank God we're here, because here's what I'm finding, Barbie. There, as you said, this huge audience of menopausal women are not only looking for menopausal information, but they're looking for beauty, health, lifestyle information from people that they can relate to.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you for doing it. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you came back to Houston. I have missed her. The other thing I have to mention, she and her husband have written the most adorable book series, Honey, I'm Home. It's about their lives. It's about how they met. See, I like it because I know the backstory. I know all the players involved. But it's
She
just
was there for it.
I was there for it. But these two are the most unusual, eccentric, intelligent people, and they produce amazing content, and they travel the world. They are a part of the world's culture, and they immerse themselves wherever they go. And anyway, if you just want a fun, really cool read, Honey, I'm Home is another one.
Oh, it's all true.
I know, it's all good. But thank you for being with me,
thank you.
and we're going to put a link to her channel, Menopause Barbie, in the description portion of this channel, so you can find her. And I hope you love my Menopause Barbie as much as I do, because I think she's precious.
I just hope I can help some people. That's what I care about.
I know you are. I love you. So with all this new
Thank
information,
you.
a new channel to go discover, will you please be bold and be blessed, and we'll see you next time. Bye.